Welcome to the Etsy Entrepreneur Podcast, where sellers can get help starting, building, and growing their Etsy business so that they can make extra money pursuing their passion. Are you ready to get the tips and strategies you need to be successful? Then let's get started. Here is your host, a top 1% full-time Etsy seller, LL.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the Etsy Entrepreneur Podcast. So awesome to have you, as always, joining me, spending your time hanging out and talking about all the Etsy goodies and just online business goodies that are out there. So you probably saw the title of this podcast is I Sold My Car, and you're probably like, what the heck, LL? What are you talking about? No one cares if you sold your car. Well, I have a point to all this, and that is what I want to talk about today, is basically sacrificing and investing in your business, whatever that business is, whether that be Etsy or you guys move on someday into growing your business outside of Etsy. So when I first started, I've talked about my journey in a couple of episodes. The first episode, and then I was actually interviewed a couple of episodes ago by the Diversified Income Podcast, and I talked a lot more about my Etsy journey in general. But one thing I didn't talk a whole lot about is investing in my business and making sacrifices early on that helped leverage my business to be a lot more successful down the road. So I left my corporate job over 2 years now, and before I did that, I prepared for years and years and years, right? I didn't just pick up my stuff from my desk and decide to leave. I had the ultimate goal of leaving my job. Ultimately, I didn't mind my job. I had a good job. It was a well-paying job. I had a lot of responsibility. I had a lot of employees, over 100 employees under me. I was a director. So I had a lot of responsibility. And I've talked about this before, I just got tired of dealing with problems and having to clean up stuff and make decisions off of issues and stuff that I did not create. So it was a lot of added stress and problems that I didn't actually create that I had to fix. And you're dealing with a lot of moving parts. You're dealing with employees, which is a whole nother animal in itself, a lot of different personalities, and that can be really stressful. You're taking a lot of that weight. You're responsible for these people. And I always tried not to take that lightly, that I was responsible for a lot of their success. I was responsible for their failures. I was responsible for the raises. So that's a lot of added stress. You have basically their family, you're responsible for their family. If you have to fire them, or have to demote pay, stuff like that. So I always did not take that lightly, but that is a lot of stress, and that was one of the many reasons why I wanted to be in control of my own business, my own destiny. So I worked towards that for years, building up my business on the side. And then when I built it up enough where I was comfortable, where I could leave and leverage that new time that I would have, not spending 50, 60 hours a week on my day job and then coming home and spending a couple hours each night on my business, I looked at that time savings that I could put into my business to grow it even more than I already had. So I made sure my financials were pretty good and I was pretty comfortable with everything, and I did take the leap. It was still a leap because you have that comfort level. When you work for the man, you're getting a paycheck every week or every bi-weekly or however often you get paid. And I would no longer have that. I would have to rely on my own revenue coming in. So that was a lot of stress, and I did not take that lightly, but I made sure that I was as ready as I could be, right? So where I'm going with this is basically when I left my corporate job, I decided that I would save as much money as possible. And one of the things that I did was sell my car. I literally sold my car, and I saved, the $300 car payment on that, or I think it was like $350 or something like that. I saved that insurance, which was another $150. So I was able to put that money back into my business, and then I also canceled my cable, which I had to keep my internet. Obviously, keep your internet. You can still stream stuff. You need to be able to work online, so you can't cancel your internet. But I basically saved close to $600 a month by doing that. Now we had another car. My girlfriend has another car, so but that was possible. I needed to work anyways, so I didn't mind being able to stay home and not have to run around. I did if I needed to go to the post office or something like that. I took my bike. Plus I got the added exercise. So I made it work, and I made that work for I think it was 7 or 8 months. I went without a car payment. So I made it work. It wasn't that bad, and I saved a lot of money that I was able to leverage and put back into my business and just create a little bit more of a peace of mind that I would have a little bit more money. So I would suggest, if you're looking to do something similar eventually, see what you can kind of cut out. There's definitely things that you can cut out that you don't need to spend as much money on, that maybe you don't even watch. Maybe you can cut out Netflix or some added services that you don't watch. I'm not saying that you have to go crazy and sell your car, especially if you need it, but it was just something I was fortunate enough to be able to do, at least for the time that I was able to do it. And then I bought another car, and I didn't go crazy. I bought another car. I have a used 2002 used car even now. I don't want to buy something crazy and spend a lot of money that I didn't need to spend when I'm trying to build and grow a business. You can if you build your business up enough, maybe you can get your dream car later on, or something that's better later on. That's kind of my thinking on that. So just think about that. That's kind of like where I'm coming from. That's the preface of this whole episode is, maybe making some sacrifices and investing in your business because of some of those sacrifices that you're able to make. So with that being said, a lot of times what we do when we create a business, and I made this mistake early on too, is you create a business and you start making some money, you make some sales. What do you do with that money? You take it. You get in the habit of taking, and not putting money back into your business. So that's what I want you guys to consider getting away from, is that take mentality, because that's not going to grow your business. It's fun when you're making extra money. It's fun. You want to take it. You want to spend it. You want to use it. But you guys got to get in the habit of getting away from always taking, and you got to nourish your business with some of that money that you're making. So when we start making a little bit of money, or we make sacrifices to get a little bit more money, think about investing back in your business, whether that's upgrading some of your equipment, that requires you to create products, material upgrades, product upgrades. The thing that will do is create more efficiency in your business. If you have better equipment, better supplies, will create better quality products. So what can you invest in your business that way, as far as product creation, especially if you make your own stuff that you can upgrade. I do a lot of screen pressing, for my graphic tees. So I upgraded my equipment 3 times now. I started off with something super cheap. It didn't work. The press didn't work very well. It was very, very basic, but it took a lot of time because it was so basic. And then the first chance I got, I upgraded it. And then I upgraded it again. So think about how you guys can leverage some money down the road, or put some money aside so you guys can continue to upgrade to create more efficiency in your business, and make things a little bit quicker and easier on yourself, and also create better products that your customers will be even more happy with. And I've done that with my materials a couple of times. I only use the highest quality, softest, longest lasting materials. They are more expensive, but my customers love them. So I don't use cheap stuff. The next thing is invest. Think about investing in tools to help your business grow. Maybe you guys want to invest in a website, so you can start growing outside of Etsy. I wouldn't recommend doing that too early, because it's just going to get you more overwhelmed, but consider that down the road. Maybe there's some marketing tools that you can invest in that'll help you with building an email list, or a following, stuff like that. Social media, that doesn't really cost any money, just more of time. So invest in that. Maybe you guys want to start dabbling in some ads, whether that be Etsy ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads. That can be very costly if you don't know what you're doing, but it may be something that you want to learn and continue to build on to help build your business. So the next thing I want you to consider of investing on is knowledge. So a lot of times, when you're thinking about knowledge investment, there's money involved in that, but a lot of it is the time to use those resources that you buy, and that's where kind of people miss. That's like kind of the missing piece. So not only do you need to invest in the knowledge, you need to invest in the time to learn and devote to that stuff. So, maybe it's resources to help you, such as books, such as podcast, like this one. While this doesn't cost you money, it takes you time to listen and digest the stuff. Maybe it's training courses, stuff like that. I have the Etsy Traffic and Sales Masterclass. That includes the help forum. People do utilize that, but then there's people that don't utilize it. So, whether you're buying something like that, just make sure that you spend the time to go through the courses, reach out to me in the help forum to get the help that you guys need. So I see a lot of a lot of times people invest in stuff like that, but then they don't ever use the resources. So make sure that you're devoting time to it. So, and that's with all this stuff that I'm talking about, guys. It takes time. Once you spend the money, or even if it's free, you got to make sure you set aside the time to be able to utilize this stuff. You have the same amount of hours in the day as, Oprah Winfrey, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, all these crazy successful people. If you say that you're more busy than them, I'm going to probably call you on that. You're probably not. So make sure you're finding the time. Do you need to spend 3 hours a day watching TV? No. I'm guilty of it sometimes. Sometimes you need that. That's fine. But if you have goals to build a business and stuff like that, you guys are going to have to cut out some of that stuff. I listen to podcasts while I'm riding my exercise bike, or while I'm working out, or actually while I'm even doing work. Some of the manual stuff that I do doesn't require me to think. So I listen to podcasts, I listen to ebooks. I can't tell you the last time I read an actual book, because I don't have the time to sit down and actually read a book. So I buy the books, I buy the ebooks, and I listen to them. It's so much easier, and I can knock out a book in 2 days. So just some ideas for you. I know you guys are all busy. If you have families and children and stuff like that, there's ways, especially now with technology, there's sneaky ways that you guys can make that time for yourself, so you can really invest in the knowledge that you guys need. You can mostly do stuff online. You can listen to stuff. So just kind of keep that in mind. And so I would go through and see kind of where you're lacking as far as making investments and putting stuff back into your business, and not just taking all the time. Your business isn't just a one and done thing. You don't just create it and let it sit. It's a living, breathing thing. You have to put, money into it. You got to put time into it. You got to kind of, show it some love, so it will show you back. So it will show you love back. I look back. Last year alone, I've spent thousands of dollars on investments in my businesses, which is a lot. Whether it's you're talking about ads or conferences, training courses. I spent a lot of money last year on that stuff. I wasn't super excited about it, but I was excited in the fact that I knew it would help me move my business forward, and I used those thousands of dollars to leverage tens of thousands of dollars in my business from what I learned. So if you're spending the money and you're doing the stuff, listening to the stuff, taking action, you can leverage that into way more money. So it's the old cliche, you gotta spend money to make money, right? It is super true. They should probably add, if you spend the money, you gotta make sure you do the things, right? So if you're not doing the things, you spend the money, you don't do the things, you don't use the products or use the services, you're not going to make money. A lot of people make that mistake, and I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but I just encourage you guys just to take action in whatever you're doing, and that's how you're going to move forward. That's what's stopping and tripping a lot of people up, is whether they don't know what to do, they don't take action. They do know what to do, and they don't take action. So if you don't know what to do, find out what to do, or just do something. It's not going to hurt you. just try to move your business forward, or find someone that knows your business and can help you. So that's it for today, guys. Now you learned about how I sold my car. Super exciting, right? But encourage you this next year. I would encourage you to invest in your business with knowledge and products to help you grow, so that you can meet your goals not only this year, but in years to come, and kind of pivot your business, launch your business forward in where the direction that you guys want to go. So that's it for today. If you guys listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, please leave a review if you like it. Helps me reach more people out there. Outside of that, you can see my products and get help that you need on EtsyEntrepreneur.com. I will talk to you guys later. Happy selling.